Welcome back to Factory Sealed. It is May 15th, 2016. My name's Eric Peterson. Joining me today, Miss Jess Clarkson.
Hello.
Jess, it is so good to hear your voice.
I know.
I wasn't sure you were coming today.
Just got to keep you guys on your toes.
We got Dan Curtis, too.
Hello.
Wait, is that Jess again?
See, I can do voices too. Good old Jock Buns doing the voices.
Did you actually keep your Twitter handle at Jock Buns?
No.
Did you change it back to Frosted Sloth?
It was pity me till I die for a while.
Have you ever watched that Yorkshire Till I Die?
I watched it the other day. It's quite special.
It is a fantastic song. Jess, do you have any idea
really
what we're talking
not.
about?
No, what is this?
So one day, Tom and I were exchanging cultural stupidities, and Tom's not here. I should probably mention that before it gets too late. He is with his mother. But Tom sent me this video we were talking about chavs, because I still didn't really have a video representation of what a true chav was. He's like, okay, here you go. And he sent me this link to a YouTube video by this rapper named MC Devo. Devvo.
It's Devo, Eric.
Devo? Okay, whatever. But he's got a song called Yorkshire Till I Die. And
That's amazing.
That person is exactly how I picture Dan, and that area is exactly how I picture where Dan lives. And it's
beautiful.
A surprisingly fantastic song.
It's really not.
So that a few weeks ago when Dan was in Australia, Tom and I were trying to break into his Twitter account by guessing his password, and one of them was "Pity Me Till I Die." So Dan actually changed his Twitter handle.
That's amazing.
Briefly.
I did like the Jock Buns though, and if I would have been on my toes, I would have created a spoof Twitter account and stolen Frosted Sloth, so you had to keep it at Jock Buns.
Shut up.
That would have been sweet.
Would have been
Let's go back in time.
I know. Because Jock Buns that's a sweet nickname, dude.
Yeah, it's a really something that I want to be associated with all the time for the
Jock
rest
Buns
of my life.
and Dude Butt.
Oh, God.
Interesting. Jess, how have you been?
Not too shabby. I've been like motorcycling everywhere.
Oh, nice.
Basically.
Have you dumped it
Can
yet?
you do wheelies yet?
No and no.
Oh.
But did I tell you that two girls that I met there were only the three girls there, and they both were like maybe 5 feet nothing, teeny tiny girls, and they dropped it probably like 6 times each day, so like 12 times total.
Wow.
Each.
They suck.
It's because they're so little that they would stop the bike and then dump it because it was too heavy for them.
Did they not know to put the foot down?
Yeah, that's the thing. They would put and then just
They couldn't
fall.
reach.
Yeah, they were tippy-toeing like cruisers.
Why were
Like
they...
250 cruisers.
Just got visions of these
Small
two
little
miniature
riffles.
miniature Canadian women just coming up on a bike and then just falling over.
It was so
Not even
funny.
trying
I
to
felt
put their
so
feet
bad.
down.
Yeah.
So they're
Oh, I fell over, sorry.
the female Aaron Robinsons.
Yeah. Basically.
How are you liking the world of motorcycling? Have you initiated any more bar fights now?
No bar fights.
Have you gotten your street colors?
No, I'm
What's your
disappointed
street
in
name?
that. Jock Buns.
Well, that's Dan's street name.
You can't have two Jock Buns.
God damn it.
I gotta get my patch remade.
I was just going to say I didn't have an embroidered leather jacket.
Oh, you have a crocheted leather jacket.
Yeah.
Could you even crochet leather? Like, if you had strips fine enough, could you crochet it?
Imagine
I
you
feel
wearing
like
a
you could.
crocheted bandana.
So badass.
I think you
Yeah.
should pursue a crocheted jacket as your... Like, that'd be
crocheted
that'd be
leather
like
jacket.
chain link armor.
Yeah, that's
mean,
true.
I think you should have FS on the back.
The defensive properties of leather have to increase exponentially as you crochet it. I mean, it's science.
Obviously.
So when you
This
do inevitably...
Man used to teach people, everyone.
I did. Just a few, but I did. And man, they're smarter because of it.
And now they're all in prison.
They're all in prison. I haven't talked to any of my former students in quite a while.
Because they're in prison.
Well, okay, yeah, naturally.
How old are they now, though?
Oh, God. College?
Jesus.
My first group of 8th graders has got to be sophomores in college.
Wow.
To juniors. I had 5th graders who are probably now about to graduate. Ugh. Makes me feel old.
We're all getting old.
I'm old.
My students didn't know, A, what an encyclopedia was, B, what Encarta was, or how you'd be able to do any research on a computer before the internet happened.
Are they idiots? Do they know what the Dewey Decimal System is?
No.
Perhaps a card catalog.
Do
Like,
they know what
nothing.
their names are?
I don't know, man.
Are they aware of what a book
It's
is?
too complex. No, like they had no idea. It is
Are
crazy.
they potty trained?
And they thought that, the iMacs that are the like super old colored ones that were like the big back ones.
What are you talking about?
The iMacs, the like really cool looking ones when they first came out.
You mean 3D glasses?
No, the computer.
Oh, iMac. I thought you said
Yes.
like IMAX.
I
At the
thought you were
theaters.
saying IMAX as well.
No.
Yeah, like the
That's
colored
that.
ones.
Yeah, they thought that was the first like Apple computer ever.
Wow.
They're all shite anyway, so
It's a little
Expensive
painful.
shite.
expensive shite, yes.
That's a special bunch of kids you got, Jess.
Yeah.
So, some big games came out last week. Well, a big game came out last week.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we can ruin it for Jess because she doesn't have a PS4.
Correct.
How is it
Pretty
2016 and you still don't have a PlayStation 4?
I spent all my money on a leather jacket and my motorcycle.
I mean, by the time you finally roll around to getting a PS4, we're going to be at PS 4.5.
Obviously.
Let's go and get some shit old games you've got and trade them in and get one.
I should just do that.
Or sell your
Yum.
motorcycle. Better yet, get on your motorcycle, go down to the local bar, find Bubbles, big guy. He'll take you to a store and you guys can rob it.
Bubbles.
That would mean I'm a 1%er.
A 1%er?
Yeah,
Well, he'd be part of your motorcycle gang, you and Bubbles.
me and Bubbles, 1%ers. Man.
I don't get the 1%ers.
It's the people like someone said like 99% of motorcyclers aren't bad guys. And then all these like Hell's Angels people were like, we're the 1%ers.
Okay,
we're
so
bad
great. Do you
people.
want to be part of the norm or do you want to stand out?
I don't know anymore.
Huh. Go find Bubbles.
Sounds appropriate.
Wear your crocheted jacket, and if they accept you in, go with them. If not, go the other way.
That's true.
I mean, you have to have more than one dive bar in Toronto.
Yeah.
So, speaking of dive bars, I was having a conversation with a friend yesterday, and they were telling me about a dive bar in their hometown that they used to go to that would have free taco bar. And I could not fathom eating free tacos at a shitty dive bar. Like, that's just a recipe for food poisoning.
But I feel like free tacos would be the best thing ever.
It'd be the equivalent of eating a hot dog off of a gas station bathroom floor.
Sounds tasty.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's free. Just
I
bar
don't
food
know,
in
though.
general is usually good, but if it's any sort of bar style, like you walk up and serve yourself, like a salad bar from a bar would be gross.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the old buffet lunch, I must admit.
The buffet?
The buffet. Yeah, it's always shit. It's always crap.
Overcooked.
Yeah. There's one
We went to-
there's one near where I work actually though, but it's like all you can eat, but they actually cook it fresh and bring it out to you, which is good.
That's crazy.
Like the
But
Olive Garden.
it's really nice, like really nice.
Soup, salad, and breadsticks.
Oh, we went to Ponderosa in America. That was the worst thing ever.
I didn't know those still existed.
Yep, there's one in Watertown, New York.
We had a snow day once in high school where we all got together and instead of going home, drove to Ponderosa and sat there for 5 hours.
Oh, God.
It was rough. And then we went sledding.
Eric, that's what I've been meaning to ask you actually. You know, in McDonald's in America,
McDonald's?
do you have like yes, McDonald's.
McDonald's. There's no A in there. It is clearly McDonald's.
McDonald's.
If it had an A, M-A-C, it'd be McDonald. Anyway, continue.
No, I don't want to.
Daniel,
No.
please. I'm sorry.
No. No.
I love you.
No.
Please.
No.
I'll take it back.
No.
I want to hear about McDonald's.
Fuck's sake. Right. In Australia, they had a thing where you could create your own burgers. Do you have this?
No.
Weird.
Did they have kangaroo meat?
No.
Like,
The
you
Big
could
Roo?
put the toppings on yourself?
Or
Or
they have little kiosks where you can order it and then they build it for you. Strange. Like they had stuff like grilled halloumi and things like that and
So
weird
you
stuff.
would walk up and you would punch everything in?
Mm-hmm.
See, that's what's going to happen in fast food with people demanding $15 an hour. Here's your replacement. Wendy's is already doing it.
So then the workers would put all the toppings on and then give it to you.
I don't know. I didn't actually get one, but
What the hell?
How would you not, like, just out of pure curiosity, I'd order one even just to throw it away?
when you've got a vegetarian girlfriend, it's kind of has to go somewhere else.
Oh, does she make you eat vegetarian?
No. But we were going out to a restaurant, so I couldn't really go to McDonald's in a restaurant.
Did they spell it M-A-C Donald's over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
But in Australia, they actually sometimes are branded as Macca's, not McDonald's.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Macca's?
And Burger King is called Hungry Jack's.
Really?
Really?
See, over here, Carl's Jr. has two names. On the West Coast, it's Carl's Jr.
I don't know what that is.
But then on the east side of the country, it's Hardee's.
Strange.
No.
Yeah, Burger King's called Hungry Jack's apparently because apparently when they tried to go over there was a chain who already had Burger King trademarked, so they just went, you know what, we'll just call it something else.
They should have just called it like the Burger Duke or something.
The Earl of Burgers.
So same as a Burger Duke.
Yes, like the football move.
Weren't we talking about Uncharted 4 a minute ago?
How in the hell did we get here?
I don't know.
Yes, Uncharted 4 came out. Oh, because we were making fun of Jess for not having a PS4.
That's
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
And somehow ended up with Burger King.
In Australia.
But I'm not a super fan of Uncharted.
What?
It doesn't
I don't
matter if
know,
you're a
what's
super
wrong with
fan
you?
or not. This game is fantastic.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh my god, it's incredible. It's just... The graphics and the animation are just something else.
They have achieved a new height in storytelling. And it's not that the story in this game is overly engrossing. It's just how it's presented.
The character interactions, but like they've done the facial animations so well that these characters just look so true to life. It's just incredible. Like I've been sat there consistently playing through this game, just being wowed all the time.
Is there...
Go ahead.
Sorry. Is there a huge difference between like the cutscene animation and do they
No.
look that good when you're playing?
It's all
Not
in
at all.
game.
That's wicked.
It transitions seamlessly from the actual movies into the gameplay. It's incredible.
Oh wow.
There's a really cool part at the pretty close to the beginning of the game that you don't really see a lot of other games do when they tell a story, is that it just kind of pulls back and gives you a peek into the private life of Nathan.
It's so incredible. I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't played it, but this section is just, you'll be smiling from ear to ear. I played it and I loved it so much.
Well, even before that, it opens up, and if you've been following the Uncharted series up until now, which a lot of people have been, this part I think we can say, you end up in Nathan's attic in his house, and he gets called down for dinner, and as he's walking out, you can explore his attic, and there are all of these trinkets and mementos and his notebooks from the first 3 games that you can pick up and look at, and he has these little quips about remembering that specific item and what he was doing, and it's
That's awesome.
fantastic fan service. And then after that, you can just explore his house, and
It's so cool.
the interactions between Nate and this other person, who is that really considered a spoiler, Dan?
No, because they were already married in the third one.
Okay, so Nate and Elena, they're married, and it's just a look into their private evening life. There's no story dump. There's really no plot development. It's just he comes down, and it's your typical married life banter about who's going to do dishes and grab me dinner, and let's talk about our days. And
Nate doesn't listen.
Yeah, Elena starts talking about her day and her projects, and Nate just kind of drifts off and starts looking at a picture, and then she calls him out on his bullshit.
And then you actually, in a new twist on the Uncharted series, sometimes you actually have the option to select dialogue. It doesn't happen often, but in this case, you can pick one of 3 things where she's kind of talking about Bangkok, but you don't know which one's right.
It's really cool, and this section is really, really long. From the time that this cutscene starts, it flips over into some other stuff, and you might get to control Nate for a few seconds in between. But the plot dump in this part is quite lengthy, but it doesn't really feel long because it's so well done.
What I really liked about this bit, Eric, though, at the start of the chapter was where he was underwater, and I thought he was in somewhere like tropical or somewhere. And then he comes out and he's like, it's somewhere in America, and I was like, huh? Yeah. It's just there's like a bridge in the background with people working on it and stuff. It's just naughty. Like the scope of these games is crazy. Like you can see from miles in the distance these like people working on a bridge, and then when you're on a boat and there's just people walking around doing the work and things like that, and it's just
they're actually doing something.
Yeah, and you can go up and talk to them if you want as well. It's just so cool.
That's awesome.
The gameplay has changed a little bit in regard to how they allow you to approach different situations. It feels a little bit more player oriented instead of really linear. If you want to just
it's not just like a corridor anymore, is it? There's a lot of sections where it's kind of like The Last of Us, where you have those kind of wide areas you could wander around. And it actually incorporates a lot of stealth. You can sneak around and pick people off one by one in these big open sandboxes. Or you can just go in guns blazing. But because these open sandboxes are so vast, you can go different routes. You can climb things. You can throw people off cliffs. You can snap their necks. You can shoot them. It's all... I really like it because it's opened it out more.
They added a new element that I don't believe was in Uncharted 3, where the enemies would spot you, and if they're suspicious, or if they're starting to see you, there's this white bar that fills up above them. Then if they get suspicious, it turns yellow, and then if they see you, it turns orange. That wasn't in the other games, was it?
No, this is
the
brand
bar?
new.
Yeah, and then they'll start actively hunting you. So it gives you the opportunity to get away from them. It's not just, oh, there he is, and start shooting you.
Yeah.
And you can hide in the tall grass, and there's a lot of stuff. It kind of feels a little bit like Metal Gear to a degree.
Yeah, like Metal Gear 5, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Especially the Madagascar level. That was just
I think they learned a lot from The Last of Us, which had more open areas where you could sneak up behind enemies and things like that.
Well, what's great about that is that if you sneak up on enemies, you can sometimes overhear just random conversations.
That's cool.
That they lend a little bit of credibility to the villains and what's going on that side of the story.
I feel like this one has more like fleshed out villains as well. There's a lot more depth to it than I don't know how far you've got, Eric, but towards the end, it kind of everything kind of ties together really well, and it's really good.
Because you're saying with the more open world, because what bugs me in Uncharted is that it's basically like that's the path you're taking because everything is so perfectly laid out and you can't do anything else.
You get to elements like that, but in between those elements, you have big, vast, sprawling areas that you can go about your own direction. It is still a generally linear path. However, you have more freedom within that
Put it this way, Jess. At one point, you actually get to drive a Jeep across a vast area, and you can literally just drive this Jeep anywhere you want. Get out, go wander, and explore ruins, find treasures.
Hook your winch up to a tree and pull your car up a hill.
Yeah.
There's
still a path that you have to go down eventually, but because this area is so huge, you could just wander around it for a while if you wanted to.
Because there wasn't much challenge in that. I think you'd get to an area and you're like, oh, I don't know what to do. Oh, there you go.
There's
a ledge. Gonna have to go on that.
There have been a few sections where I get to the part I'm like, I kind of don't know where to go.
Yeah, that's happened to me as well. There's actually with the climbing, Jess, as well, there's not always a predetermined path, so you can go different routes.
The only complaint that I still have about this, and I don't think there's any way to rectify it, is that it's the climbing is still very largely unbelievable. Not because, okay, he's climbing around a cliff, but because that jump is clearly too far for him, and he'll fall short, but then it'll just snap him to the cliff.
Oh, okay.
It's
a little caveat, but
it doesn't bother me.
It doesn't bother me either.
What has impressed me about this is how they've revamped the climbing with the actual movement. It's very clever. On the original Uncharted, you would like hold the direction button and then he would like hold his arm out in a direction. Then you'd have to press X to jump to that. But on this one, you actually have full control over his arms, and you can like hold the analog stick, and then he put his arm out and grab the handhold, move over, and then you can put the handhold up, then you can put his hand up to the next one, and so on, using the analog stick to move him across his face rather than jumping about. And it's really clever.
That's cool.
But like he won't move until you put his hand in the right place.
And
but is that tedious?
No, I find it really enjoyable, actually. I think it adds a bit more depth to it, and it just makes it more enjoyable overall.
They've added a grappling hook too. There are certain elements that you have to swing across certain areas, and there's sliding sections where you feel like you're going to slide off this cliff, and then this hook appears out on the side that you can grapple onto, and it just adds a lot.
Very conveniently placed, them.
Yeah, and the fact that he hooks onto it, and then when he jumps off, it just conveniently unhooks itself and returns to his pocket.
Yeah, I'll give them a free pass for that one, but I feel the sliding mechanic's a bit overused, to be honest.
A little bit. It's like, oh, this is new. Let's just beat it to death.
What do you mean sliding?
So there's these like shale slides, just really loose rock, and when you touch it, he just starts sliding down it, but you can control where he goes. They use those a lot.
It's cool for a while, then you're just like, oh, no, again.
Yeah.
But what I have enjoyed very much about this one is it introduces Nate's brother, Sam Drake, who we didn't know about until this point, and the actual banter between them is excellent. It's really good, as you'd expect from Naughty Dog.
I like how they give a lot more backstory. The one question that I had for you, though, is it's been a while since I played Uncharted 3, and I believe in that one there was a brief segment where you played as Kid Nathan, right?
Yes, there was.
And you were in some foreign country?
Yeah, you had to steal a thing from a museum on Uncharted 3.
So how does that tie in to this? Because in this one, he's very clearly in an orphanage and has been there for a while.
Well, I assume he must have still been there in Uncharted 3, but it was never touched upon. So,
but how did he get to this foreign country, to a museum, to steal something if he's in an orphanage in the United States?
I can't really say without really spoiling this.
Okay, then don't.
I just got up to another section where it's in the past, but I haven't played it yet, so I don't know. But it looks like it's going to have some reveals.
Okay.
But I don't want to spoil the story because this is new about, and it's very good, and I feel it keeps me hooked all the way through because there's an underlying mystery to it all. Like
I don't
with
trust
the other games.
I don't trust his brother.
Fair enough.
It's voiced by Troy Baker, though, in case you're wondering, Jess.
Oh, really?
And Troy Baker is Joel from The Last of Us.
That's
And
so good.
Booker DeWitt from Bioshock Infinite and millions of other things.
Yeah, the new Nolan North.
So they've combined together into one glorious whole.
Hole as in hole in the ground?
Whole as an ash hole, my friend.
Yes. I think, Dan, you and I both finished the new Ratchet & Clank, right?
Yes, we did.
Fantastic game.
It was. I loved it. Very good. Very, very graphically excellent as well, that one.
I think that one is one of the most beautiful games on the PS4 yet.
Which I would never have expected
No.
in a million years, but it is. It's fantastic.
It definitely...
Did you go see the movie?
I haven't, and I think I think the reason for that is because I started reading reviews and it just didn't get good reviews.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And it's not actually out here for some reason.
That is really weird. Did you look into that?
I looked on the cinema listings and everything, can't find anything about it. They must have just decided not to bother.
I might go. I think what it boils down to is I haven't really had time. But this game very clearly exists as a companion to the movie. And Dan and I were kind of talking about this. Towards the end, it feels like the game just starts to throw elements of the movie in for no other sake than just because.
Yeah, I think you two played through the original Ratchet and Clank, doesn't it? It ends on Veldin, doesn't it? His home planet.
I think so. It's
But
been
this isn't a spoiler because this came out 10 years ago. So,
No.
But on the new one, this doesn't happen. It has an entirely different ending. So I was surprised by that.
It's still cool. The ending is fantastic.
Oh yeah, it's a good final boss fight and stuff, but it's a bit out of the blue.
And for $40, you can't go wrong with this game. It's such a good deal.
It is. I don't understand why this is cheaper than a full price game because it is a full game. It's not like Into the Nexus where it was shorter.
Well, and
this is the full package.
If you're a fan of the series and have been playing it since the beginning,
I would pay a full price for this.
There's a lot of fan service with it too. Like you're collecting these holo cards, and they join up to form different collections, and they unlock different things for you. But if you flip over,
went on the challenge mode yet, Eric? Sorry,
I haven't. But if you flip over each card, there's text on the back of it that talks about what's on that card and where it's appeared in different games, and there's just a lot of fan service to it.
Yeah, but in challenge mode, you actually have the Insomniac Museum you can go to from Ratchet's garage, and it has different warehouses in, and they all have different things from the series over the last 15 years.
Oh, geez.
And you have to collect all the gold bolts to unlock them.
Yeah, I've collected all the gold bolts.
Have you already? Wow.
Yep.
Well done.
I didn't start challenge mode. I just stayed at the end so I could travel around the planets at my will. Yeah. So that's that. I mean, fantastic game. Jess, you need to get a PS4.
I feel like that's just going to be the end of every conversation until that happens. I'm fine with that.
Why it hasn't?
I don't know.
Clearly, you have expendable income if you bought a motorcycle.
Shut up.
Yeah. Are you going to light this one on fire?
No, I haven't lit any on fire. It's friggin' Andrew.
Oh, yeah. Is he going to light it on fire?
He's not allowed to touch it.
Oh. Do you tuck it in at night?
I do.
Okay, good.
Do you give it a kiss?
No, I haven't gone that far yet.
She straddles it, Dan. I mean, that's pretty...
That's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Pretty intimate.
Speaking of straddling, you still don't have a straddling picture.
Yeah, Jess.
I mean, Dan went to the other side of the globe to get one, and you can't just go outside and straddle something?
Huh. I guess I haven't.
Yeah. I mean, just send us a picture of you straddling your motorcycle. I'll call that even.
Sounds good.
And that's something normal to straddle.
Maybe I'll dress it up.
Put some lipstick on it. So
did either of you two this week? Eurogamer did a really good piece about Lionhead and its closure. Did any of you guys see this?
I saw it, but I didn't read the whole thing.
It was 20,000 words.
Whoa!
Oh my god!
Did you read the whole thing?
I got about 3/4 of the way down, and I was just like, "Oh god, it's so long." It's so in depth. It was crazy. Like all the different things that have happened to Lionhead over the years, and really, really good read.
Didn't what was it? The game they were working on, Fable Legends.
Yeah,
that basically got shut down because, in their words, nobody was excited to be working on it.
Well, apparently, people wanted to buy Lionhead when it was going to close, but Microsoft didn't let them because they don't want to let go of the Fable IP. So
they just shuttered it.
So yes, they just shut down a studio which has basically been making really good games for the past 20 or so years.
So what does that mean for Molyneux? He's not part of that anymore.
He's on 22 Cans, whatever it's called, making shit that nobody plays.
Goddess, that's a train wreck.
Yeah. Let us not forget Curiosity What's Inside the Cube.
Oh god. You get to be in our next game.
He made out that prize was so exciting. There's an ongoing saga with that guy who won that as well. And he just hasn't got anything he was promised. Or
good old Molyneux. Just spewing diarrhea from his mouth. So this week, at the behest of one of our new listeners, Sam Chun, we've decided to tackle some Sega Genesis classics. We originally set out to play some Jungle Strike and then whatever else we came across, and decided to switch gears halfway through. Dan, did you play either of the Strike games?
I didn't get time for these two,
then we won't waste time with that, because that was a train wreck. For some reason, I was talking to Tom about it, and apparently we said Desert Strike in the show, but I kept thinking Jungle Strike, so I loaded up Jungle Strike.
Is there three of them?
Oh yeah, there is Jungle, Urban, and Desert.
Right.
So I loaded up Jungle Strike thinking, this is going to be just like Desert Strike. I'm going to be in a helicopter, and I'm going to be flying around in the jungle and like blowing up enemy bases and picking up crates with weapons and refueling my helicopter. But no, Jungle Strike starts off in a very shitty representation of Washington, D.C.
Huh?
With no explanation of what the hell to do. It's like, here you go, fly around. And the White House is just in the middle of this gigantic green field with a road, no cars on it, no buildings other than the Capitol, Washington, the Washington Monument, the White House, and then some other little monuments, the Library of Congress, and then terrorists surrounding them. It was the dumbest premise. No idea what to do either. I'd press on the map or like little question marks, like go here, and I'd go there and nothing would happen. I'd kill everybody, then I'd run out of fuel, my helicopter would crash, and I'd have to start over.
Excellent.
It was not the fun Desert Strike game that I remember. And there were no jungles anywhere.
You sure you did play Urban Strike?
It was definitely Jungle Strike.
You sure somebody hasn't reskinned it or something?
It was really, really bad, because I have great memories of Desert Strike.
Yeah, me too.
Because it's interesting. I mean, even still today, the controls are really good. It's a top-down helicopter game, and the helicopter still controls really well. You've got 3 different types of attacks. You've got machine gun, Hellfire missiles, and then just your basic rockets. And when you run out of those, if you blow up the enemy, sometimes they'll drop a crate of weapons, and you can fly over it, and your tow hook drops down, and you pick up new weapons. They're supposed to be refueling stations where you can land your helicopter, refuel, recharge your armor, and then take off again. And the whole point of it is you have X amount of things to do, but you have to plan it out strategically so that you don't run out of fuel halfway through and crash and die. But this one just sucked.
You're really selling it.
I'm not selling it. I'm saying play Desert Strike instead of Jungle Strike because Jungle Strike was poop sandwich.
Maybe
it
it
might
was
have been
the
all right if you
political
could figure out what to
jungle.
do.
I mean, I'm sure it is okay, but why did it start out in Washington, D.C.?
It's making a statement that America is the jungle.
I suppose.
Obviously.
depth.
It's too early to think that deep. So I started to dabble a little bit into Gunstar Heroes, but Dan requested that I wait on that until he gets his not shit internet so we can play together.
Yeah, having an ongoing saga with that, by the way, so don't expect that anytime soon.
Uh-oh. What's up with that?
Oh, I don't even know. Apparently, somebody's put a cease order on the phone line for no apparent reason, so that I can't get it transferred, and nobody knows where the cease orders come from, so I'm going between two companies trying to figure out what's going on at the moment. But we'll figure it out, hopefully.
What?
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Like your phone is... What the fuck is a cease order on a phone?
I have no frigging idea.
Do you have an actual landline in your house?
Yes,
Why?
because we do.
Like with an actual phone hooked up to it?
Uh-huh.
Is this 1995?
That's wasteful money.
That is money that you could eliminate.
I
Crystal
know.
said she didn't want to spend the extra $15 to upgrade the internet. Eliminate the landline, and there's your $15.
Don't pay $50. We pay £2 a month for the landline.
That's still $2 too much. How often do you use it?
I don't use it. She uses it.
Does she not have a cell phone?
She does, but she hates technology.
She needs to get her shit together.
My brain
I know.
hurts. Does she still have on that phone? Do you have an answering machine too?
No.
Like with a tape?
This is irrelevant. The phone has nothing to do with this.
You just said it did. There's a cease order on the phone, so you can't.
Yeah, on
and
the
I don't
phone
understand how that ties
line.
together.
The phone line, not
But
the phone.
fiber doesn't use the phone line.
Yes, but it's on the existing phone line.
Like account.
Yeah, which has to get transferred across
Across to what?
to the new provider.
Why don't you just keep the phone line with that provider and then start a new account?
Because you can't do that over here.
Oh my god!
You have to transfer. You have to pay line rental and your broadband over here.
You guys pay like TV taxes too.
Yes, we do.
It's craziness.
God, I love living in the land of the free.
It is
You gotta
crazy
pay
about
your,
the
you gotta
TV
pay
license.
your monthly dues to the Queen. Kiss
Course.
her ring at least 3 times a year.
Oh yeah.
Should we get to the game that we actually played for this week?
Probably.
Yeah. So Dan and I were sat trying to figure out just what the hell to play because it was Thursday afternoon and we hadn't decided what we were going to play. And Dan, in a stroke of brilliance, happens once in a while,
Thank you.
decided we should play some Castlevania Bloodlines for the Sega Genesis. And I do
Ties
believe,
nicely with last week when I thought I'd played this game, but I hadn't.
yeah, and I think, and without going back through and reading all of his email, I think Sam Chun recommended this one, so we'll just give it to him anyway. Because we do have an alarming lack of Genesis games on this show. We're a little
We do
bit...
actually. We do.
Yeah.
We do...
Being very SNES oriented over the
Yeah,
last.
we're Sony and Nintendo oriented, and we need to break that.
Yeah.
We're sorry.
Maybe that's a testament to there's not many good games on the Genesis.
There is.
You're right, there is.
I think it's just because you guys are more SNES. I was from the more Genesis kind of
Which is
area.
odd, then you'd think you'd be dishing out all these great Genesis games for us to be playing.
I did. Echo the Dolphin was good. Streets of Rage 2, you enjoyed that.
I did. The turkey was good.
In the nether regions.
God. So I'll be the first to admit my Castlevania knowledge is severely lacking. However, I did quite a bit of reading and research on this game because I wanted to know more about it. So I have notes this week.
Oh, fancy.
What's your history with Castlevania? I think we talked about this last week where you...
Those are my notes.
Oh, good. Mine are digital
I thought you were getting attacked by a pigeon.
Dan, you haven't played many Castlevanias, have you?
No, I said last week that the Castlevania I played on 3DS was actually the first one I've ever played.
Holy shit. Okay. What about you, Jess?
We did Symphony of the Night
Yes.
a few years ago.
I need to play that. I hear good things.
So good. This is the third Castlevania game I've ever played. I played Simon's Quest on the NES, Symphony of the Night, and now this. So I have no understanding of like the overall art, or the overall story of Castlevania, because there's a lot of different eras and there's different families and
isn't it just basically kill Dracula?
Essentially, yes, but he continually reoccurs within different eras and certain things tie together. I don't understand all that. I don't claim to.
You're covering your back this week, are you?
Yes, because I would hate to give off the impression of knowledge.
No, we don't know anything.
Yeah. But heaven forbid we try to learn something.
Yes.
And then share it improperly.
How dare you?
But this game is an interesting side note in the Castlevania series. It's the only one that was ever released on the Genesis. And it was never initially intended to be like canon within the story, or it was meant to be like a side note to it. But what's interesting is it's thought that this game is loosely tied to the novel Dracula by Bram Stoker.
All right.
Because they wrote a character into this game called Quincy Morris, who's written into the continuity of the Castlevania series, and he's thought to be a Belmont descendant. It was never really confirmed, and a lot of people disregard it because by saying that book is part of the continuity of Castlevania, it would create a lot of major inconsistencies, but I just thought it was kind of an interesting conspiracy theory, if you will.
That is
so
interesting.
Have all the Castlevanias got different characters then, or is they recurring characters?
So I looked up Castlevania timeline, and as I was trying to put this all together, and it's big. I mean, it starts in like 1094 A.D. So just reading off some of the names, there's I think they're all Belmont descendants because the Belmont are history's greatest vampire killers. So it's like Leon, and then there's Trevor. We were trying to list all of them, and apparently we were really wrong. Christopher, Simon, Just, Richter. Oh my God, there's so many.
Or like Richter, is that one of the original names? Because it's weird that you'd have Christopher in like 10.
There's another guy called
Alucard
though and stuff. So
okay,
well, the Alucard is much later because the series spans from 1094 until Dawn of Sorrow, which is 2036. So it's like 1,000 year spread.
So Castlevania of the future.
Correct.
Okay.
We're getting close.
Almost.
So, but for Castlevania now, the guy who made it originally he's now broken off and is making a new game called Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, isn't he? Which was kickstarted and it like got its money straight away.
Kind of like what Inafune did with Mega Man and Mighty Number 9.
Has that come out yet?
Which, by the way, finally comes out next month.
Oh.
Exciting.
23rd? 21st, maybe? Of June?
So we know what you're doing.
Very surprised Kojima didn't do it as well, you know.
You're surprised who?
Kojima didn't do it.
Well, we don't know what his new game is yet.
True. Apparently there's something hidden in his logo.
A full body.
Probably.
So, back to Bloodlines. The story of this one, again, kind of... It's interesting because it mirrors a lot of real-world events. So, in this one, the assassination of the Crown Prince of Austria sparked violence across Europe, which is kind of paralleled with the assassination of Franz Ferdinand of Austria to start World War One.
So the vampires caused World War One.
Correct. So as they were, it turns out somebody named Elizabeth Bartley was plotting alongside Drolza Suentes to incite a global riot and then use the souls of those dead people to resurrect Dracula.
Mm.
And these people, Elizabeth Bartley and Drolta, are actually based on real people. So I did some reading on these, and...
Really?
Oh, yeah. Elizabeth Bartley is based on someone named Elizabeth Barthery. And her servant, that wasn't able to find the servant's name, who aided Elizabeth in murdering hundreds of young women in the 1500s.
Wow,
So
never heard of it.
She's from Hungary, and she actually holds the Guinness Book of World Records as the most prolific female murderer.
The highest number of victims cited during her trial was 650.
And they were all young women from villages around her castle. And there were some stories during the testimony from witnesses who described her vampiric-like tendencies, where she would bathe in the blood of young women to retain her own youth.
Oh my god.
So she was actually nicknamed the Blood Countess or Countess Dracula.
Wow, how have I never heard of this woman?
And apparently Elizabeth Bartley is a recurring vampire within the Dracula series, or the Castlevania series. So she's the legendary vampire, but she's based on a real person.
How interesting.
So this game's got a lot of rich history behind it, which I like. I think that's pretty cool.
But in-game, you don't learn any of this.
No, none. So
yeah,
the game itself, like you have two characters. They're both descendants of the legendary Belmont family, and they're tasked with stopping them from resurrecting Dracula.
Yes.
Yes. Who did you guys play as?
I played as the guy with the whip.
John.
Which also occasionally looks like a giant double-ended dildo.
The whip does?
Yes.
Interesting fact about the whip. The whip's name in the Castlevania series is Vampire Killer. However, this is the first game that is ever actually called Vampire Killer.
It's recurring in the series, though, the whip, isn't it? Because it was in the one I played on 3DS as well. They all had a whip.
Was it called Vampire Killer in that game?
I think they all had different names depending on which character you were.
They were called
a combat cross in the 3DS one. Sorry.
Interesting.
And you could use it for other things as well. But going back to this one, the two characters are actually, I think they're quite different. I think the guy with the whip can swing off ceilings and the other guy can do high jumps. Is that correct?
There's a couple different moves that they can do. So there's John Morris and then Eric. What's his name? Licard.
John Morris. When was he supposed to be from? What time period?
The 1900s. This takes place in the early 1900s.
But he looks like he's wearing like a windbreaker.
No, that is a leather vest. He's in a motorcycle gang.
Shut up.
Okay, so hold on. I need to retract an earlier statement because I'd hate to be called out for inaccuracies. Eric Licard is not a descendant of the Belmont family. he is John's best friend, and he comes from the noble family in Segovia, Spain. But he wields an Alucard spear, which was forged by Dracula's son, Alucard.
Okay.
Correction. Yeah, Jess, look at the box art. That is clearly not a windbreaker. That is some Prince concert material right there.
Okay, it looks less of a windbreaker there.
That is a ruffled collar.
That's a shit box art right there. That's what that is.
It's not terrible.
I've seen worse, but it's not good, is it really?
So John has the whip, can be upgraded 3 times. Has 3 sub-weapons. But he can also, unlike the other Belmonts, whip downwards in the air. So when he jumps, he can point down and whip down. And he can use his whip to swing. But I didn't play as John. I played as Eric.
Well, of course, you would do.
Yeah, and apparently he's more powerful. He uses a lance or a trident, and it has longer range, but he himself moves a bit slower. His weapon can be upgraded 4 times, but he can attack in 8 different directions.
How do you upgrade the weapons?
When you destroy the candles, little things will drop down.
Oh, you mean the brief power-ups?
No, they're not brief.
They are. If you get hit, well, when you're playing as John, if you get hit, you lose it.
No, not as Eric. They're like these little badges that fall out of the candles.
Oh, is that what they are?
And then, so for me, I had a spear, and then the first badge would fall down and it would turn it into a trident. And then the second or the third one that would fall down would turn it into a trident that, when it got to the end, 2 little hooks would pop out of it. And then the fourth one would just give it longer range. And so it would stay with me.
Do those persist between levels and stuff?
Yeah, until you die.
Oh, until you die.
Yep. The only other noticeable difference between this game that I found and the other games is that most of the other Castlevania games take place directly around Dracula's castle or in its immediate vicinity. This one, you're traipsing all over Europe.
Which was kind of cool.
And incredibly random.
Yeah, there was really no... I mean, you go to... What are the areas? You start off in Dracula's castle. Then
Atlantis?
You go to Atlantis. Then...
Of course.
Pisa.
The Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Which is extremely large.
Yes. And then some sort of bullet factory.
A munitions factory, which I thought was incredibly random because I thought this was in the past. But now that I know that it's in World War One, I can understand it more.
And then you're in the Versailles Palace. What's the last level?
The fictional Castle Proserpine in England.
Okay. You were talking about the guy who initially did this jumped off to make his own game, right?
Yes.
This music. What did you guys think of the music in this?
Quite liked it. It was very fitting.
Yeah, I liked it.
It's very Castlevania because the only other Castlevania games that I've played were the Symphony of the Night and Simon's Quest. The guy who did the music for this also did Symphony of the Night.
All right.
That's
good continuity right there.
Arguably one of the most iconic Castlevania games.
What I think we need to talk about with this is Castlevania is very famous for spawning forth kind of the Metroidvania genre where you have to get items to progress to new areas that you passed earlier on. But this one isn't like that. It's more linear and you're just going from stage to stage.
It kind of just felt like your side-scrolling brawler.
Yeah, it's basically what it is. There's no like depth to it where you have to collect items to go somewhere that you've been previously. There's none of that.
But then again, I don't think... Well, I could be wrong with Super Castlevania 4. I think that may have been like that. I just don't know. My knowledge of the series isn't deep enough to...
Was it not around Symphony of the Night when this started happening, when they started having the branching paths and things? And I think it might have been.
I would assume that the Super Nintendo one did as well. I just have not played it.
We're going to have to play that shit, son.
I'm going to. I really enjoyed this. Even though I went into it expecting it to be that Metroidvania style game, I still enjoyed playing through it as a linear style. You just had to approach it a little bit differently.
I thought the standout thing about this game was the boss design.
Yes.
Really good.
Yeah.
They're all so vastly different, too. And it's not just your generic tank the boss until he's out of health.
Really good animations on all of them as well.
The one that stuck out most notably for me was the Atlantis Wizard. Because he didn't attack you at all. But he killed me probably 7 or 8 times.
Oh, the mini-boss where he was filling up the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
You just have to jump and hit him. But
Yeah.
I didn't like the Atlantis level at all. I'm just going to get that out of the way. That
I hated
level
it.
fucking sucked. Everything about it was terrible.
I just get panicky when there's water levels rising, and I do stupid things.
It's so easy to just get knocked into the water on those kind of levels, and then you're dead.
Well,
and it's just so annoying.
It reminded me of the Sonic level with the water, where you can make it out, but there's so much pressure to get out because your life is going down, and then you just screw up and die.
Yeah, it makes you panic.
But if you actually fell into the water at the start, you just died. There's no chance of getting out.
There's the section later where you have to jump up while you're avoiding those floating Medusa heads, and then you have to come down with it while you're avoiding the floating Medusa heads.
It sucked.
It was cool, don't get me wrong, but I hated it. I did not enjoy that level at all.
That's what I found interesting about this game. It had a lot of like animation and stuff you wouldn't find in other games at the time. Like the Leaning Tower of Pisa level has like diagonal levels and things like that, and has like platforming sections where it kind of bends around a tower and things, which I thought was quite cool.
The Atlantis Wizard, when you get to the top, he doesn't actually attack you, but he's pouring this water down, and it's filling the level up, and you're tasked with killing him before that happens. And I think the reason it took me so long is because I wasn't destroying those candles outside his level to upgrade my spear to at least its first upgrade. So I was going in, and every hit was only doing 1 life point. And I don't think it's possible to beat him with just your basic weapon before the water fills up.
See, I didn't realize the first time what was actually happening, so I just died.
That's what happened to me.
I was like, when it finally got near the top, I was like, oh, he's filling the water up, dead.
Yeah.
Why is he crying?
What's going on? Am I supposed to be
was
avoiding this?
I thought he was prepping a big attack.
Like,
and I was like, surely I have to kill him before he does this. But no. Because I was observing him, not watching the bottom of the screen where the water was filling up. So.
Well, and
does the water hurt you?
Yes. If it's over your head, it will start to hurt you.
No, but the water
takes
that
off
he's
about 3/4 of your health per second.
I don't think it hurts you just to get hit by the water.
No, it's only when it's over his head.
Yeah.
Oh, because that's what I was avoiding the first few times, because I was like, how the fuck am I supposed to do this? Like, it's everywhere. And then I died.
One thing I have to talk to you two about when playing this is the severe lack of health items.
I don't think, and that I had a note on that. I never, ever once got a health item.
I found 2 pork chops in the entire game, and that's it.
Because I went to an FAQ and I was just looking at some of the available items because
Yeah, because I was like that because I wasn't getting any health, and I was like, well, where's the health?
Yeah,
and there's hardly any.
Well, and I saw that there was another item called the mirror that kills all enemies on screen. Only found one of those.
I got a few of them.
I don't know. I don't think I got any of those.
I didn't get my first one till the end of the game. Never once came across a pork chop. Ever.
Which is strange because it's quite a difficult game.
Well, they only give you 3 lives and 2 continues to beat the whole game.
You can find free guys, as Eric calls them.
You found free guys?
Yeah.
Where?
In candles and stuff.
I destroyed all the well, I shouldn't say all that because I probably would have found them, but I never once came across one, and I destroyed as many as I could.
Wait, what? Are they?
The candles that you destroy to get items.
No, the free guys?
Yeah.
1-ups, Jess.
Free guys.
Oh.
You're a guy, and it's free.
Eric calls them free guys.
Yes.
We're not sure why.
Okay. Yeah.
He likes having guys for free.
Duh. I don't want to pay for my guys. the interesting thing about the level design is that it was broken up by mini bosses. Each level had 3 bosses, 2 mini bosses, and then the main boss. But they were all kind of stacked right towards the end. So you'd go from the first mini boss almost immediately into the second mini boss, and there'd be a little bit of a level, and then boom, right into the final boss. What were some of your favorite bosses?
I really liked the golem thing where you had to knock it down different levels.
The rock creature?
Yeah, the rock creature.
That took me a long time to figure out what the hell to do.
I also enjoyed the boss that was made of gears. That was pretty cool.
I liked the giant bat on the spinning tower.
Oh yeah, that was quite cool as well. I liked all the bosses, to be honest. I thought they were really good design.
What, Jess?
Wasn't there, like, I forget which one it was, but I feel like some of the bosses seem familiar from Symphony of the Night. No, I can't remember.
I'm just not sure. I've only played through it that once.
And I haven't played it, so I can't help.
The magic column was pretty frustrating. The one that has got the 2 faces, 2 half faces.
Oh, that was annoying as hell.
So it faces this internal column, and when the faces appear, they shoot out these blue balls that bounce around the level and attack you. And as soon as they're done shooting them out, the faces disappear. But that's the only time you can attack that pillar in the middle. But you also have to be avoiding these blue balls bouncing around. And if you take time to destroy the blue balls, then you're not going to hit the pillar.
No, but you actually had to destroy the blue balls to hit it.
No, you didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, you didn't.
You did.
I killed him without destroying all the blue balls.
No, you didn't have to destroy the blue balls. You had to hit the blue balls when they were near the pillar so they would explode and hit it.
No. False.
You might not have realized you were doing it, but it does definitely happen.
That is 100% false, because
I don't think it is.
There were times where they weren't near the pillar, and I would just jump up and attack the pillar. I will fight you to the death on that.
That's what I did.
Okay. So basically, you didn't realize that your weapon was also hitting the pillar.
No.
The balls did not need to blow up to hit the pillar.
All right, well, that would have made life easier.
Yeah. Now you know for next time.
Thanks.
Yeah. I was reading a little bit more about the game too, and this one, well, it did come out in the Genesis era, did actually get censored in other countries. In Japan? No. In Europe, because it was still forbidden to use the word blood in games at that time.
Seriously?
So
Really?
It was redubbed Castlevania New Generations. Is that what it's called over there for you, Dan, or is it Bloodlines?
I don't know. I don't have the original, do I? So.
Well, I'm just asking. What did you... I suppose because you downloaded the American version, probably. Or
Correct.
in Japan, it was called Vampire Killer. So it's
all right to put killer in, but not blood.
I think that's interesting that they didn't keep it as a Castlevania game in Japan. The title screen was changed from red to blue because the red gave off the impression that it was a sea of blood and that there were blood drops, so they removed those. Some of the enemy palette colors were changed to make them less intimidating and scary. And then Eric's death animation was changed. So when he dies, he gets impaled by his own spear. That was changed.
Seems like quite a stupid way to die, really.
Well, I mean, if you die and just fall on your sword afterwards, I don't think he died because he fell on his sword.
He should have moved it out of the way.
He's dead.
He's not dead. He's fine.
It's a death animation. It indicates
Yeah,
directly...
but he might be unconscious and then falls on his spear and kills
it's not
himself.
called the unconscious animation.
But I think, yeah, that could be true. He could be killing himself because he's a tool.
So he should just
Because
have
he's
a
so
whip
sad.
and slap people. What were your favorite levels, or your favorite level?
I like the Leaning Tower of Pisa level.
That one,
Yeah.
That one. Jess, who did you play through? I don't think I asked you that. Did you play through as John or Eric?
I played both.
Oh.
But she
But
didn't
I
finish
think initially I liked John better, and then I liked Eric better, and then I stuck with Eric.
I only played through as Eric, and the Leaning Tower of Pisa is actually where you do get a little bit of freedom in your path.
Yeah.
I got stuck, and up until this point, I didn't realize that Eric had the ability to use his spear as like a pole vault to launch himself upward.
Mm-hmm.
So if you hold down and then jump, he uses his spear to launch himself up. So in the Tower of Pisa, you get to this area where there's this huge gap, and I probably tried to jump it 4 or 5 times, just couldn't make it, and got frustrated. I'm like, do I really need to start over and play as John? Because I can't figure this out. So I was crouching in the other room, trying to avoid some of these enemies, and then was going to jump out of the way of one, and apparently was still holding down and launched up. I'm like, oh, God, the whole game just opened up for me.
So with that level, like, when they're at the diagonal, like you're walking up on a diagonal.
Yeah.
So if you go straight across, you go into a room and you have other enemies. But if you jump all the way up to the top, you just go right into the water rising. Wait, no. Are those different levels?
Yes.
Yes.
What is the water rising one?
Atlantis.
Oh, where the hell do you go after that then?
That's
Leaning
when you
Tower of
go
Pisa.
to Tower of Pisa.
Oh, is it the sky level right after?
Yes.
So the diagonal one was in Atlantis, or it's in
The
Pisa?
diagonal
Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Pisa, yep.
Oh, okay. I'm very confused.
They're 2 different levels on a game, Jess. One comes after the other.
Apparently.
The munitions,
But you could jump all the way up to the top. That's what I was saying.
the munitions factory felt really, really out of place.
Yeah, it was so jarring.
I mean, suddenly they've got robots with machine guns, and it just did not fit the game in the least.
But now that it's set in World War One, I can sort of understand the thinking behind it, but I didn't know that when I was playing it.
I didn't like it. It was my least favorite level. It had a little bit of that Mega Man, Metal Man feel to it. I didn't really like this is Castlevania, not Mega Man.
You only want your Mega Man for your Mega Man.
Mega Man. How far did everybody make it?
Finished.
I got to the platform level of the Pisa, where he had to, like, the screen was moving, and I panicked way too much.
That was
and I died.
Really cool.
Halfway, Jess. Not bad.
That is good. Congratulations.
Thanks.
When did you start it?
This morning.
Nice. I made it halfway through the final level. This was at about 11:30 last night. Like, I got to do a little bit of research on this game so we have something to talk about.
It's very nice, Eric.
Try. Do it.
So you have you not seen the last bosses then?
I have not. What are they?
Oh, well, you have to fight the lady who we were on about before, Elizabeth. You have to fight her. And she basically what she does is she summons like orbs, like, when we're fighting the face thing. Orbs like that, and they go around the screen. And then she starts warping from side to side in the room, and you have to go and hit her. And basically what you have to do is you have to hit her 4 or 5 times before these orbs disappear, otherwise she does a special attack, which will probably hit you and take off a lot of your health. But the only way to actually hurt her is to hit her 5 times or 4 times.
Huh.
Which I didn't realise until the second cycle. So I went through all of this thinking, why is her health not going down? And then she kept summoning all these different orbs, like there's blue orbs, then fire orbs, thunder orbs, and then some sword orbs. And she summons all them, and then they attack you after that because I wasn't hitting her quick enough. And then eventually I clicked on that you have to do it quicker. But it's quite challenging because she throws fireballs at you at the same time, so you have to really floor it to try and hit her. Which was,
the last level got really, really difficult very quickly.
I didn't like the section where they had like different bits where it was split up.
Oh, the mirror section. Thank you for bringing it up. That was fantastic.
It was clever, but it was annoying.
The trick to that, so Jess, what happens is You walk into this room, and it almost looks like the game has shifted. The middle section is offset from the bottom section, and then the top section is in line with the bottom. So there's this big mirror in the middle that kind of skews you. So when you're in the mirror, the top half of your body is further forward than your feet. And there are certain platforms that you can only see in the mirror, but it's figuring out how you get to those that's difficult. What I discovered makes it really easy is to always just look at your feet.
Yeah, that's what I did in the end as well.
That's so cool.
It was really cool.
And straight after this section as well, there's a bit where you're upside down.
I didn't get that
weird.
far, so I stopped after the mirror section.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're upside down after that and have to navigate across platforms while there's electricity going around them and stuff. And then I think there might be a mini boss, but I can't remember what it is. Oh, yes, there's a mini boss which before Elizabeth, which is like a wizard again, and he brings up tarot cards. And you have to hit the cards, and then certain things can happen, like it can warp you back to an older boss, and you have to fight them again.
Oh, wow. That sucks.
And then you have to get rid of all these cards. One of them actually gives you like a mountain of pork chops, so that's where they all were.
Oh.
in there. And then eventually when you get rid of all the cards, he starts fighting you properly, and you can hit him and stuff.
So,
Quite difficult bosses on this level.
Let me ask you this, Dan.
Uh-huh.
We talked about the game only gives you 3 lives and 2 continues.
Yes.
Did you make it through legitimately?
No.
I mean, obviously you use save states, but what?
Not at all.
What did you do to get through it?
Save states constantly.
So, actually, what I did is, because I didn't write down the passwords when I quit, I found a page that had the passwords, and it turned out those passwords would put you at each level with 9 lives.
Those looked extremely complex.
So you did essentially make it through the game with the 3 lives, 3 continues you just save stated.
Yeah, because I started it this morning and I wanted to finish before the show, otherwise I would have done it properly. But I just wanted to make sure I had a...
I don't think I could have done it that way because the game is pretty difficult.
Well, I've kind of got good at the whole save stating thing. You kind of have to wait until you hit someone, then make sure you save, pause, save state, go back into it, and so on.
Yeah, I would just use my a handful of the lives, plow through, get to where the boss is, save state with full health, fight him, and then just put the password in to get to the next level with 9 lives.
Cheating.
That's not cheating.
I actually got through an entire level using with the upgraded special power whip because I saved state and didn't get hit.
Oh, jeez.
Until I got to the boss. When the boss hit me, I was like, no.
Oh, poor Daniel.
But yes, anyway, at the end, you have to fight Dracula himself, who has 3 different forms.
Okay.
So he comes up in a cape thing, and then he opens the cape and attacks you with like lightning and stuff, and you have to hit him when he opens the cape. Then he turns into
one of those flashes you.
Yes, he does.
He's a pervert. Look at my dick.
His cock's like your whip. He just
folds out.
Then you use your big purple dildo to hit him. Anyway, then he turns into a wizard thing, which you have to kill as well, and then finally turns into a big, like, bone devil thing with it has like a mouth on its crotch, which you have to hit.
Nice.
Yeah, and those fights were actually surprisingly easy, and I don't know why. Like the last form, you could kind of wait until he comes near you, hit him, and then he would go away, and you just had to dodge an attack, hit him again, go away, repeat.
I don't think many of the bosses were that difficult.
Once you figured out how they worked, they weren't. But I think there was a bit of trial and error.
Yeah.
As is true of most games of this era.
So I read about the endings. There are 4 different endings.
Are there?
Yes. 2 for each character, normal and expert.
Okay.
John, if you beat it on normal, it's just showing... All of the endings show the destruction of that castle.
Yeah, that's all that happened.
And John, basically just says, hey, I stopped the resurrection of Dracula. If you beat it on expert, it shows another screen of him in an action pose and a declaration of, hey, the blood of vampire hunters courses through my veins.
Ooh, that's worth playing again for.
Yeah, if you beat it with Eric on normal, it basically just says, I fulfilled my destiny. If you beat it on expert, there's a close-up of his face with him saying that greater unknowns await me in the future.
Prophetic.
And this was another change, too. In this close-up, let me see. I'll send you the picture. They changed his face to be more masculine because he's pretty effeminate in the non-Castlevania series, the Vampire Killer series.
Oh, yeah.
They made both characters pretty feminine.
Okay. I saw this picture.
So I think in Japan, they like their characters to look a little bit more anime style, and he definitely does look anime style in that. He's got his really pointed jaw. Castlevania Bloodlines and New Generations, it's the squared jaw, pretty defined brow, big
That's
nose.
so interesting. That's so weird.
Yeah.
I like that's weird. I suppose it's true of Japanese like RPGs and stuff though. They are quite effeminate. Like Sephiroth and Seven is
Pretty
Final Fantasy Seven
androgynous.
is yeah.
I
Kind of.
I really enjoyed this game, to be honest. I was
I
surprised.
thought it was a
with
lot of
how much
fun.
I liked it because Bloodlines is always, when I hear my friends that like Castlevania, they talk about it and they're just like, Bloodlines. You know, it's just kind of the black sheep of the series.
I think it's kind of the one that gets forgotten about.
Yes, I would agree.
But it's well worth having a dabble in. I mean, I was actually kind of gutted it was only 6 stages because I thought it would be 8.
I thought it was going to be a lot longer.
Yeah, I think if you're good at it, you can beat it in a couple hours. I think what kills me about wanting to get into this series is that it feels a little overwhelming because there's so many games and they all tie together. It's like, where do you jump in?
Yeah, there's certain games like that. Like
you know, you can't say the same for
the Persona series. Are meant to be really good, but I don't even know where to start.
the which one?
Persona, yes. Sorry, I can't speak.
Yeah, it's not like the Final Fantasy series where none of them tie together. You just jump in anywhere. This one, they all follow the same story.
What else is Yakuza as well? Those kind of.
I tried
they
to
come
play
out.
Yakuza and just couldn't get into it because they gave away 5 on the PS3 a couple months back.
Oh yeah, they did, and then because my shit internet, I didn't download it.
It's so big.
It was like 8 gigs. Saw that.
Any final thoughts on Bloodlines?
I just say that people should give it a go because it's good fun.
If you like Castlevania games, definitely play it.
Like a good old side-scrolling brawler, give it a try.
So when
Just make sure when you're going up the stairs, you'd actually press up because if you're like me, you will just
Oh
fall
my
to your death.
god. That was stupid.
I just knew that from playing other Castlevania games.
But it was I was
The
so
amount of times I jumped to my death through stairs.
Yeah.
Because the stairs just go into nowhere. They're just into nothingness.
But even if you were like, I'm pretty sure if you crossed, did you have to hit down to go down? Otherwise you would drop as well?
Yes.
Yeah, that irritated me. Man,
Didn't
oh,
bother
man.
me.
Well, you
Well,
knew.
whatever.
Yeah, I knew. I used my brain.
You have a brain?
Huh? Huh?
What?
So when we were talking about Uncharted, I forgot to mention that we initially set out to play Naughty Dog's first game,
Oh, yes, Keith the Thief.
which I tried. Guys, I honestly tried to play this. But I don't know if it's just because I never played many of these text-based adventure games as a kid, or because they just flat out don't hold up. I physically couldn't do it. Like, I looked at it and went, I don't want to do this.
I was the same. It took me long enough to figure out how to play the damn thing, to be honest.
I think there's a reason that genre died.
It's interesting to see how far Naughty Dog has come, though, from that.
Well, wasn't it a studio founded by two 16-year-olds?
Was it?
Yeah, that was their first game.
Wow.
That's so cool.
Yeah. You can play it on archive.org.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really bad.
Play Crash Bandicoot instead. Yeah. You'll enjoy it more.
You guys play anything else, or should we go on to some emails?
I've been still slogging through Dark Souls 3, but...
I beat that ages ago.
I knew. Well done, you. You're so good.
You want to send us an email, factorysealed@manatank.com or podcast@factory-sealed.com. Our first email, again, comes from new listener Sam Chun. I'm going to kind of abbreviate it because it's not as long as his other ones, but it's kind of long. Writes, hey, Factory Sealed crew. It's a shame that you weren't able to play some good retro games the past week. I hope your schedules work out better for you in the future. He has a couple questions for us. Do you find that games with interesting twists in different aspects of the game, even if done poorly, are interesting enough to try and adapt and accept?
Do we have any examples?
Yeah.
So I was thinking about this, and I interpreted that as new gameplay mechanics. And the first game that came to mind was Odama from the GameCube.
Never played that.
So it was this strategy-based war game done as a pinball game.
Okay.
And it had the goofiest controller. I want to see if I can find a picture of it. It was surprisingly good. It had a microphone. That's what it was. So here's a picture of this guy playing Odama. It's this big-ass microphone that plugged onto the top of your controller. And I don't exactly remember how it all worked, but I just remember it being... I remember it being unique enough that it's like, this is pretty interesting. You know, it's not complete shit.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
I am at the other end of the spectrum. Did either of you two play Brutal Legend when it come out?
Bits and pieces.
No.
Basically, Brutal Legend was meant to be a kind of open world exploration game where you were in like metal world, and Jack Black was the star, and it was really good. And then for suddenly about halfway through, for no reason, it turned into a top down strategy RTS game.
I did hear about that, and a lot of people didn't like that.
And I hated it so much. It was just like, why have you done this? You're doing so well.
I'm trying to think of some other interesting twists, or I wonder if he's... I actually wonder if he's in reference to... No, not story twist.
Well, it kind of ties into the Metroidvania genre as well, because they introduce new game mechanics as you go along. And I feel that really helps them to keep fresh all the way through.
Well, and that ties directly into his next question, though, is do you prefer the tried-and-true mechanics or story that are widespread and commonly accepted and loved, or new mechanics?
Well, I think mechanics can be overdone during the game. Like we were on about the sliding in Uncharted. So I think there's a balance. If you can have something new which actually enhances it further and it's not unnecessary.
And is
good.
Similar in execution, unlike Brutal Legend, where it's like, all right, this is an action venture, now it's an RTS.
Yeah.
I was going to say, like, to switch something up just to switch it up, I don't think is the best approach.
I like tried and true mechanics. I like variations on it. But there's reason.
Eric, Stranger's Wrath.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was fantastic.
Because that plays entirely different once you get past the halfway point.
Yes, that is probably one of the other really good story twists in a video game. Like, better than Link Between Worlds.
Huh.
And that's also another one that I will never spoil for anybody because it's just that good. And it's one that you clearly never see coming.
I did.
You did not shut up.
I didn't. You're right. But you're so easy to wind up.
He's got some PC recommendations for us, or a PC recommendation. System Shock 2, which is a survival horror game, actually has a pretty well-known story twist. I don't know what that is.
I don't either.
Maybe we should play that. I think we gave away a couple copies of System Shock 2 not too long ago.
It's always been one that I'd love to play, but never got round to.
GameCube recommendation, Baten Kaitos, Eternal Winds and the Lost Ocean, which is an RPG. It has uncommon combat mechanics and a story twist somewhat later in the game. By the way, I'm really glad that my exhaustive email about the 20 Sega games that you shouldn't miss is going to be helpful for you. It's most likely that I won't do that again to you in the future. Regards, Sam. I like his emails.
I like some.
Yeah.
We like you, Sam.
Gail Enley
You
writes
can stay.
in with the subject line, Dong Bacon.
Awesome.
He says, greetings.
I love it already.
Greetings, Factory Sealed crew. The great irony is that I was going to use a massive dick as an analogy for Australian bacon, but I thought, nah, don't go lowbrow. These are classy folks. I love you, sons of beaches. Keep up the great work. He just wanted to talk about dicks.
Fair enough.
That's it for emails. FactorySealed at Metatank.com or podcast at Factory-Sealed. We need to discuss the Jeeves Box.
The Jeeves Box.
For those of you who have been listening for the past few weeks, you know that there is something that exists called the Jeeves Box. You probably don't have a clue what the hell it is.
It's basically a butler in a box.
We're going to stuff a guy in a box and send it to you. Don't be alarmed if he's dead when you get there.
We'll have air holes.
Yeah, poke
We'll put some biscuits in for him. He'll be fine.
Some cheese.
Some pottery.
The Jeeves Box was Dan's brainchild, so I'm going to let Dan explain it in the best of his ability.
I can't even remember coming up with it, to be honest.
You did.
Did I?
Well,
Excellent.
you and I were talking, and you're like, we should do like a loot crate.
Well, yes. Basically, it's episode 100 next. Amazingly, 99 episodes of this shit we've done. Well, I haven't. These two have.
You've done over half of them now.
I have done over half of them, but 99 is amazing going, by the way, guys. Well done. Well done.
Thanks.
I'm not sure if anybody listens, but you know.
Probably not.
No. But, so episode 100 is coming up, and as many of you may know, we like doing giveaways for you occasionally, and to celebrate episode 100, the Jeeves Box has been conceived, and the Jeeves Box is basically going to be like a loot crate. If anybody's not familiar with loot crate, this is basically a random box of crap that a company will send you.
And it's typically crap.
It is
but
typically
it's like not grown up stuff, but it's kind of like I'm a child again.
But it's crap.
Yes.
It's like just trinkets that would take up your room in your house.
Yes.
But ours isn't like that. We've been in contact with a few of our special guests from over the last few shows. We've got some special stuff to put in this box. We haven't finalized exactly what the contents are yet, but we will be giving you the opportunity to win this. Basically.
We can tell what we have up to this point. So we actually will be doing a couple other giveaways as well, because Will O'Neill, developer of Actual Sunlight, sent me 5 copies of the game. And now, yes, I understand it's a digital game, but when he unveiled the game at PAX, he had these USB bracelets made that have a copy of the game on it. So one of these will be in there. Rob Duenas from Sketchcraft sent us an amazing art print.
This is really good.
It is
excellent.
Super cool. So I'll have it framed and sent out. But it's a retro Star Wars print with old retro Star Wars games, Princess Leia in the Millennium Falcon. But it's not just a paper print. It's a metallic print. And that print was featured on the cover of Retro Reading magazine. So he sent a copy of that magazine along with that print, both signed. So that will be in the box.
Craziness.
What else? Jess is crocheting something to do with testicles.
Cross-stitching.
Oh, same thing.
Yep.
Harkens back to the days of proper bollocks. If you're
A proper bollocks keychain.
Is that what it's going to be? A keychain?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
I want one. Can I win it?
Yamas is making some custom stone video game coasters.
Nice.
And then I am making a stocking. The Hylian shield from Zelda.
Oh, that's
very
awesome.
nice.
Yeah, the Ocarina of Time. Because that is what we are playing in 2 weeks.
Yes. And
So,
I have made a special cover for the box, and I will also be donating some money so we can put some retro games in there, hopefully.
I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to try to find some games that we've discussed that have been pretty memorable. And if they're cheap enough, throw them in there. We're trying to get in touch. We've been in touch with Elias. We're just trying to coordinate getting something cool from him. But that's
this is going to be crazy.
That's kind of fun.
Other than that, there could be anything in there.
This box is going to be awesome. Like, it's one of those things where I just kind of want to keep all the shit for myself.
Yeah, I know.
I thought that was the plan.
Shit. I'm going to cut that part of the show out.
So after much debate, we've decided how you are going to win this.
Yes.
If you want to win this, you have to send us an email with your favourite memory from Factory Sealed from the last 100 episodes. That's all you need to do. Just an email.
An email will grant you an entry. Now, if you are a Patreon supporter, you will be granted an additional entry per dollar that you are donating. I believe that donations are pulled out at the end of the month. If not, they're pulled out at the beginning of the month. So you still have time if you want to ensure your additional entries to this to sign up on patreon.com/factorysealed.
And even donating a single dollar will get you an extra entry into this thing. So just send us an email. And if you were signed up to give us $1 on Patreon, even if it's just for a month, you'd get 2 entries.
Yes. Or if you want to donate 100, you'll get 100 entries, and I'm pretty sure that will guarantee you win. But then again, I'm not a
This turned into a
statistics
competition.
major. Yeah. It's what?
I said it's turned into a competition.
Yeah. Who can donate the most money? No, we just, part of it is because we want to have more content to share on the 100th episode. We always like it when you guys send emails with just random shit, and we've been doing this for, my God, it's almost 4 years now. There's so much stupidity that's happened that for us it's kind of hard to just remember it all. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure there are shining memories within.
I think there's going to be some absolute gems over the past year or so. It's just been really stupid.
I think we should compile some of our favorite moments too. I mean, it was dumb when it was Jess and Aaron and I, and then when Nick jumped on, but like we just cranked it up to a whole new level when us four got together.
Oh, yeah. We are the top of stupidity.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Stupid. Chew on that stupid. Stupid.
I think my favourite is probably Krag's Vag Plug. That's absolute classic.
It is good.
I'll save that for the 100th, though.
We each come out with our own nuggets of intelligence from time to time. So please, we will be gone for the next two weeks. Chew. CHEW. 2 weeks.
CHEW.
Yeah. It's like stupid.
Stupid.
TUPID. Stupid. We're going to be back on the 5th of June to play Ocarina of Time. We will hopefully all have it done. How far are you guys in that, by the way?
I haven't even started.
Oh, you bastard. Jess, did you end up starting over?
Yeah, I totally stole from you and got the 3DS version. And I just finished
I really think I've sold my 3DS copy. I
Goron's
hope I haven't.
You just beat what, Jess?
the Goron.
Oh, okay.
Death Mountain.
I never know how to say that. Yeah.
So, are we going for just any completion, or are we like trying to get as much shit as we can?
But how are we quantifying as much shit?
Hate collecting those gold Skulltulas.
I think I did it once, and then I was like, I put my time in.
But
Like,
What do you get? What do you
in
get?
one
Like a bottle
universe.
or something if you collect them?
No, there's different rewards and upgrades. I think, like
Yeah.
art pieces.
It's the wallet, I think.
The Giant's wallet, yeah.
Can I play a Skyward Sword instead?
No,
I love Skyward Sword.
I just flipped into Adult Link, so I'm about a little under halfway.
Oh.
But
Should we be going for like heart pieces?
I say just get to the end of the game, I guess.
Oh.
So 2 weeks.
Just get as much as you can.
Well, beat it at the least. Okay. Daniel,
Okay.
Hello.
how are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Quite. Where can we find you on Twitter?
At Frosted Sloth, possibly Jock Buns, and possibly Pity Me Till I Die. I'm not sure which.
Or all three. Just create 3 parallel accounts.
Yeah.
Jess,
At I am a Jess.
you can find me at Honest Pizza. And I guess if you're curious about Tom, you can find him at Hyperjelly. Guys, that's going to do it for this week. Next time, we will be Centurions.
What up?
June 5th. Be here. Win yourself a bunch of shit. We'll
Or
send
be
out,
square.
Or a bunch of shite.
Be a cross. Or a box. Or an O.
Oh my god.
Or a 3-pointed geometric shape. Could you imagine if they chose different things like a rhombus, a trapezoid? Like how better everybody would be at geometry?
But that would, because you could be like, the trap button. That would be kind of cool.
Or a cube?
It would probably be emoji symbols nowadays. Like a shit.
Hit the cylinder, so you could have cylinder, trapezoid, rhombus.
Hit the
cube.
dodecahedron.
Oh god, that's too dumb. All right, with that, that's gonna do it for this week. Unless you guys have anything dumber to talk about,
Pretty sure that's all my dumbness for Sunday.
we have 2 weeks to store up a bunch of stupidity.
And as it's the 100th, we'll try to be extra stupid.
We'll be real dumb. But until then, we will see you all in 2 weeks.
Daddy, bye.